Welcome back to Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte. We're ready for the Falcons and the Panthers. Time now to join the third member of our team on the sideline, Christina Pink.
Hey, thanks a lot, Gus. Well, you can basically throw the records out the window in this one. The Panthers want a little payback, and they're not shy in talking about it. Greg Hardy told me before the game, hey, we're better than these guys. Look at the stats from the last time we played. We sacked Matt Ryan 7 times. We're going for 10 today. But the Falcons not trying to take part in the trash talk, telling me, hey, it's division opponent, but we don't care what they're saying. Gus?
All right, thank you, Christina. As we take a look at the weather, raining earlier today, but it's cleared up. Sun came out a little bit, so 62 degrees at kickoff time. And here's the omen of the day, folks. Coming into this game, the Panthers had not won a coin toss this season. They were 0-13, including an overtime game. They won the coin toss today, and they will receive the football.
Did you hear the roar from the crowd when they heard that they won the coin toss? They felt instantly better.
So Armand Smith will bring it out of the end zone, gets to the 15, and crosses the 20 and gets up to the 22-yard line. Time now to take a look at the impact players.
For Carolina, Steve Smith, you know he gives them attitude, toughness, and heart. Greg Olsen has been playing awfully well at tight end in recent weeks. Sean Weatherspoon is a run-and-hit linebacker who adds an extra dimension to the Atlanta defense. And Thomas Deku has 5 interceptions on the year, one of the top ball hawks in the NFL.
So first down and 10 at the 23-yard line for young Cam Newton. He has suffered a sophomore slump, as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, but he's been coming out of it lately. Last 5 games, 12 touchdowns, 9 passing, 3 rushing, and just 2 turnovers. And he'll throw it on first down, far side. And this is Greg Olsen, who's having a terrific year. 51st catch of the season as we take a look at Killer Cam's numbers.
And you just mentioned how things have declined a little bit from last year to this year in terms of numbers. The key, I think, for him, you saw the 0-3 record against Atlanta. It's close games. If the Carolina Panthers could ever break through in a close ball game and get a win, I think that'll elevate this team in a big way and put a new light on what Cam Newton was doing here in Carolina.
Second down and 6 at the 27-yard line. D'Angelo Williams in the backfield. They'll give it to him. Running to his left, and he'll cross the 30 up to close to the 32. Akeem Dent with the tackle. Speaking of close games, Charles, Atlanta is 29-11, the best record in the NFL in games decided by 8 points or less since Mike Smith took over. Carolina 0-7 in games decided by 7 points or less. The last team to go 0-7, the Panthers in 2001 went 0-8.
Yeah, Ron Rivera, their head coach, is 1-12 in his career in those types of games. And just this season, Atlanta, 7-1 in games decided by 7 points or less. The one loss against New Orleans.
Third down and 2 of the 31 underneath, and it's caught. Beautiful reception by Steve Smith, who after 12 years is continuing to do it. You can't call him an old man. He's playing like a young guy.
Watch him in the slot position here, and he's going to run a slant route. Just breaks it off inside against number 27, Robert McLean, and that ball is right on target. Well done route by Steve Smith. Excellent throw by Cam Newton. First down, Carolina.
Gain of 10. Smith now with 54 catches, over 900 yards receiving. 2 touchdowns. First down at 10 to 41. Play fake. Newton drops it off. Here's a screen. Barnage, far side, crosses the 45 up to the 47. He'll gain about 6 yards on the play. Gary Barnage in his 5th year out of Louisville. So Cam off to a very good start, a very rhythmic start for this Carolina offense.
I like the term you used, and he seems relaxed there. Did you notice the pressure in his face on the last completion of Barnage? Did not hurry his motion, didn't change his mechanics. That's where 6'5", 245, 250 helped. It's a big guy back there. He saw over the blitzing linebacker and dropped it into Barnage nicely.
Newton starting 3 for 3, 20 yards, 2nd and 4. Here's the handoff. D'Angelo Williams gets to the edge on the move as he hurdles a defender and gets inside Atlanta territory. Sean Weatherspoon finally makes the tackle. What a beautiful run here, though.
Watch in the left side as he makes it right there. He ends up slipping past 2 Falcons, Jonathan Babineau, number 95, and John Abraham, 55, and then goes for the extra yardage, running through the tackle of Weatherspoon and Stephen Nicholas, number 54.
D'Angelo Williams, 12 carries, 67 yards last week against Kansas City. First down and 10 of the 47 for Carolina. This time, Newton out of the shotgun. Play fake. With time, Newton steps up. And Cam Newton goes down at the 40-yard line. A gain of 6 on the play.
Now that's the extra dimension that he brings to the game. If he doesn't feel entirely comfortable with pulling the trigger and sending the ball downfield, his legs can usually get him out of trouble. And not just that, gain yardage for his ball club. Look at this now. You talk about 2nd and 4. Very manageable situation. This is what offensive coordinators love. Rob Chudzinski, his playbook gets expanded when he has 2nd down and short situations.
Newton, second leading rushing quarterback in the NFL behind RG3. And here's the reverse. Joe Adams, the rookie out of Arkansas, will pick up the first down or be very close to it. Looks like he has it from our vantage point. But speaking of rushing, Cam Newton came to this game with 524 yards rushing. RG3 in his rookie year, 732 yards rushing for the Washington Redskins.
That's it. Cam has been part of the wave that is changing what we're looking at. Howie Long talked about in our pregame show how things have changed now in evaluation of quarterbacks. We want the running element out of kids coming out of college much more so than in the past.
Third down and short. Panthers need a yard. Here's Tolbert, and he'll get square. Still moving. Mike Tolbert pushes all the way down to the Atlanta 30. Chris Hope makes the tackle.
Watch Mike Tolbert, number 35. And this is something coaches were talking about in pregame. Right there. See that little bit of slip? They're worried about the field, that it's going to be a little bit slick. And every coach I talked to said the exact same thing. Every guy's got to have his weight underneath him, playing a good football position. Otherwise, you will slip and fall on your face or on your back. Mike Tolbert was able to do that, balancing with his hand and picking up a big first down.
So on 3rd and 1, he gets 7. First down at the Atlanta 31. Opening drive for the Panthers. D'Angelo Williams will get inside the 30-yard line. And the last time these two teams met, tell you what, it was a heck of a game, 30-28 the final. Matt Bryant kicked his 3rd field goal of the game, a 40-yarder with 5 seconds left, and Matt Bryant overcame being sacked, as you mentioned, a career high 7 times. He threw 3 touchdowns in the game that featured 5 lead changes.
And one of the ways that Cam Newton is staying out of trouble right now is that they're running the football effectively. 6 runs to only 3 passes. A good run-pass combination for Rob Chudzinski, their offensive coordinator, early.
Cam Newton passed for 2 touchdowns and ran for a 3rd in the first meeting. He'll throw it here. Newton sets up a screen. Tolbert has a blocker in front of him. And Tolbert will get close to the 25-yard line as Croy Bierman came from behind to make the tackle.
You've been stuck with me all year, so you know what I'm about to say. Drives like this early, excellent for Carolina. But in football 2012, Atlanta's defense, led by defense coordinator Mike Nolan, is thinking one thing now: field goal attempt. That's how you win games nowadays. Limit them in the red zone or just outside the red zone. If you can hold them to a field goal attempt after an excellent drive here, Atlanta will feel great about itself. For Carolina, if they don't convert and get a 6, it almost feels like a failure on the opening drive.
3rd down and 5 at the 25. Here's Newton. Fires in the end zone. Touchdown! What a throw! And what a catch by Greg Olsen. He went up and brought it down. And Cam Newton put that one on the money.
Olsen, number 88, will end up working down in the seam against Thomas Deku, and uses his height and separates, and Cam Newton recognized the situation. You notice where the football was placed? Up on the top shelf, where Greg Olsen could use his size at 6'5" against Thomas Deku's 6'2" to elevate and catch the ball. Perfectly thrown, well executed.
3 career 50-catch seasons for Olsen. He picks up his 5th receiving touchdown, and Cam Newton and the Panthers are on top of Atlanta 7-shake.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back as you take a look at the scoring drive. Cam Newton, 5 of 5, 48 yards and a touchdown. They were 3 of 3 on third down conversions, including the touchdown, Newton to Olsen. 7-0. Carolina scoring on their opening drive. Now we'll get an opportunity to see Matty Ice and the Atlanta Falcons. Jacquizz Rodgers will bring it out of the end zone. And Rodgers up to the 15, where he's wrestled down. Jason Williams with the tackle on special teams. One of the great young stars of the NFL, Matt Ryan, on the field right after this.
Game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
7:41 to play in the first quarter. 7-0. Atlanta takes over. Michael Turner running straight ahead. Let's take a look at our impact players.
For the Atlanta Falcons today, it's all about blocking the pass rush. So the offensive tackles, Sam Baker and Tyson Claybo, have to handle the defensive ends for Carolina, Charles Johnson and Greg Hardy. 7 sacks in their first meeting. Johnson has 8.5 on the year. Hardy 8 himself.
2nd down and 7 at the 20. Jason Snelling in the backfield for the Falcons. Ryan will throw for the first time. And he has, guess who, the future Hall of Famer, Tony Gonzalez. Another terrific season, 73 catches, now 74 as we take a look at what Matt Ryan has done this year.
6 games of over 300 yards passing. He has 16 of those in his career. 5 straight wins against Carolina. And remember this, one game he threw 5 interceptions against the Arizona Cardinals, yet still had enough poise to lead a last-minute drive to win the game. Not much ruffles, Matty Ice.
Ryan dropping back, steps up and goes down. Frank Gers with the sack. And that's the first of the day.
And this is how it happens. Look at Captain Munnerlyn, number 41, locked up on Julio Jones. Number 22, Josh Thomas locked up inside on Roddy White. Tony Gonzalez trying to get free, but there is number 26, DJ Campbell, which means now the pass rush gets extra time to get their push towards Matt Ryan. Kearse coming from the defensive tackle position.
So that makes it 2nd and long, 18 yards needed for the Falcons. They'll drop it off. Here's Smith on the screen, and he can't hold on. Antone Smith in his 3rd year out of Florida State. That brings up 3rd down and 18.
The number one concern coming into this game for the Atlanta Falcons was, could they block the front 4 of defense of Carolina? Early in the game, they've already had an impact, setting up a 2nd and 18 and now a 3rd and 18.
Jacquizz Rodgers checks back in. Drew Davis in motion. Ryan drops it off. Here's Davis, and he's chopped down at the 25. Aggressive hit. DJ Campbell, Luke Kuechly combining on the play.
And after the sack by Kearse, that allowed Sean McDermott, the defense coordinator for Carolina, to now play coverage. Keep everything in front, come up and tackle, get off the field on 3rd down. Mission accomplished for the Carolina Panthers.
Joe Adams back deep at the 24. And Adams allows it to go out of bounds. So the Panthers will have it at the 21-yard line. Cam Newton perfect on his opening drive. Let's see what he does this time. Carolina up 7-0.
This game is sponsored by the all-new Ford Fusion. Go further. By Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The next big thing is here. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
7-0. The defense for Carolina doing a terrific job as they send Matt Ryan and the Falcons off the field and give the ball back to their star, Cam Newton, who was 5 for 5 on his opening drive, 48 yards and a touchdown to Greg Olsen. He'll start from the 22, first down. Newton to throw on first down, sideline, and he throws up BB. Lewis Murphy with the grab. A gain of 8.
You mentioned how Cam Newton was in rhythm early in the game, Gus. You saw that on the shot to Steve Smith. Also used his legs, and then the touchdown pass to Greg Olsen could not have been thrown any better. The perfect spot, away from the defense, up high for the tight end. Touchdown Carolina, 5 for 5 to get things started for Cam Newton. Now 6 for 6.
Second down and 2 at the 30-yard line. Olsen, the motion man. Here's D'Angelo Williams, and he'll pick up the first down and more. And yesterday, when we met with the Panthers at their facility, for me, it was my first time ever meeting Cam Newton, and I was just awed at so many different things. First of all, he walks through the door, and you literally think you're looking at the handsome version of the Incredible Hulk.
Who's playing quarterback?
That's playing quarterback. And, you know, he was so self-effacing in terms of the sophomore slump and some of the things that he's doing or he has done off the field. He told us, he said, my professionalism needs to mature. I thought that was one of the best quotes you'll hear from a young athlete.
Telling statement, not defensive about what improvements he needs to make.
Gets to the 40-yard line. Warren Moon, one of his mentors, and he's been criticized with a towel over his head this year.
And Warren has talked to him about all of these things, about what it means to be a quarterback. As you well know, playing quarterback is not just a position. It's a lifestyle. It's 24/7. No matter what happens, where you go, where you do, what you do, you're identified as starting quarterback Cam Newton. And that's what he's still learning. That's what he's growing to understand more and more every day. What Warren Moon, with his father, with the Panthers organization has been trying to teach him.
Second down and 5 at the 40. D'Angelo Williams, a lot of running room, and he gets across midfield down at the Atlanta 46. That's a 13-yard pickup. Witherspoon and Dent combining on the tackle.
And this offensive line of Carolina is supposed to be makeshift, but watch how they work. Jeff Hangarten, number 63 inside. 65, Gary Williams at right guard. Look at the hole in the space they create right there. D'Angelo Williams coming right at you at home, folks. Straight at you. Big gain for the Carolina Panthers.
Jonathan Stewart, inactive today. He's been plagued by foot and ankle injuries. First down and 10 at the 47. Here's the pitch. Tolbert. And Tolbert stopped by Akeem Dent. Mike Tolbert in his 5th year out of Coastal Carolina. First year with these Panthers. Signed as an unrestricted free agent from San Diego. He's a bruiser. Played with Tyler Thigpen at Coastal, former Kansas City Chiefs quarterback.
Not exactly a hotbed of college scouting, yet they found 2 NFL players there. Home of the Chanticleers.
Second down and 10 of the 47. Here's Newton. Drops it off to Tolbert. And Tolbert gets to the 40. And Mike Tolbert, very solid catch, 7-yard gain. Christopher Owens with the tackle.
Mike Tolbert doesn't look like a good pass receiving target, but coming into the game, he caught 21 passes on the year. Cam Newton trusts him, trusts his hands, and it's not just screen passes as we saw. And I'm going back to something you mentioned in the first drive about Cam Newton, that he was in rhythm. He looks awfully comfortable today in the pocket. Went through his progressions, looked off to his left, saw it wasn't there, came back to the right with Mike Tolbert crossing underneath and put it on him.
That's what happens when you finally win the coin toss, Charles. After going 0-13. Third down and 3 at the 40. Back to Carolina right after this. Welcome back. 7-0 Carolina. Panthers have had the ball for 11.5 minutes. They're faced with a 3rd and 3 at the 40. They're 3 of 3 on third down conversions. And Newton in the shotgun. Mike Tolbert right next to him. And Newton wants to run it. And Newton trying to push forward, and he may have gotten it. Great second effort by Cam Newton.
I mean, that was a man's run right there, even if he didn't get it, because watch the initial contact where Cam Newton is met, right there. So just Sean Weatherspoon had a chance to trip him up. He kept his balance. Then he drives through on Thomas Deku, who needs some help from Parade Jerry, Corey Bierman, and they finally get him down 4th and short.
Panthers going for it. Newton in the shotgun. And Newton will run. Cam Newton, first down, Carolina.
Did you have any doubt in your mind who was going to keep the football on that play? And why wouldn't you?
And that takes us to the end of the first quarter with the score. Carolina 7, the Falcons nothing. Welcome back to Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Panthers with the lead and the football at the Falcons 36-yard line, 1st and 10.
Might want to take a shot right here downfield. The Panthers like to push the ball deep.
Here's a play fake. Out wide, caught Lewis Murphy, and he is wrestled up and taken down. Nicely done by Robert McClain.
Terrific play by McClain, a former Carolina Panther who was filled in nicely. Asante Samuels had shoulder issues, and he's jumped into the fray and played awfully well. See Asante there. They were going to work him out in pregame and see how things responded with the sore shoulder. Not going at the moment. Doesn't look like he's ready to roll today with the baseball cap on. But this is a trap game for the Atlanta Falcons. They have to be very careful. The Carolina Panthers are better than their 3-9 record. Played them awfully well in Atlanta. It was a 2-point game. Atlanta had to kick a field goal to win it. Not easy.
So Carolina calls their second timeout of the day. Start of the second quarter, Panthers with a 7-0 lead. Faced with a 2nd down and 11 at the Falcons 37. Here's Newton, steps into his throw, and incomplete as Lewis Murphy was his intended receiver. And looking at Cam yesterday in practice, you see him on TV, and you can tell that he has a strong arm, but up close and personal, that thing gets out of there in a hurry.
And it's so effortless. The ball just comes off his hands so well, and it doesn't look like he's putting a whole lot of oomph behind it. Then you realize it's 50 yards downfield. And with dispatch. He's going to need one of those here on 3rd and 11. Let's see what Atlanta decides to do with Mike Nolan. Now you've got to be worried about the Falcons pass rush with John Abraham, number 55, being the principal guy.
11th play of the drive. Here's Newton with time. Now in trouble. Newton trying to break a tackle and does. Cam Newton breaks it back inside, looking for the first down, and he's got it. Killer Cam. Spectacular run down to the 21. First down, Panthers. On 3rd and 11, he gets 13.
Remember what he told us about being 0-3 against Atlanta, and he thinks that's personal because that's his hometown. He spins out of the tackle of Corey Peters, and now he's not running for a first down. He's running to win. Knew where the marker was and made sure he got there.
First down at the Atlanta 23-yard line. D'Angelo Williams. And D'Angelo Williams gobbled up as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Akeem Dent, 2nd year out of Georgia. You like these linebackers for this Atlanta Falcons team, especially Sean Weatherspoon.
Well, Weatherspoon is one of the best, I think, in the NFL. He's missed 3 games with a knee injury. Otherwise, we'd be talking about him going to the Pro Bowl right now. You know, Mike Smith calls him a run-and-hit linebacker. That's exactly what he is. He finds the football, and he gets there in a hurry. But Akeem Dent, filling in for Curtis Lofton, who went to New Orleans as a free agent, has had a nice season. And Stephen Nicholas is a guy that every year they talk about replacing, and every year he plays solid football.
2nd and 10 at the 23. Newton looking inside, caught Lewis Murphy again, and he's inside the Atlanta 10-yard line. Weatherspoon with the tackle, but Cam Newton, he is pitching the football today.
And we also saw the value of the extra work that Louis Murphy's been putting in after practice with Cam Newton. Coming to the play. Brandon LaFell not able to play today with a foot injury, a starter who's out. Murphy, formerly with the Oakland Raiders, starting to assimilate well with the Carolina Panthers.
Newton starting 9 of 10, 78 yards and a touchdown. Knocking on the door now. Here's the delayed handoff, D'Angelo Williams, and he'll get to the 6. Nicely done, though, by Sean Weatherspoon.
You know what play we have not seen yet from Carolina? We have not seen the quarterback run in terms of zone read. We have seen the quarterback run with the direct snap, and then he waits for the blocking to form and gets there. We haven't seen zone read yet, and that's a play that's significant for them, especially in this type of a situation.
15th play of the drive. That started at the 22-yard line of Carolina. Newton. Looking. Newton fires in the corner. Incomplete. No flag on the play. Louis Murphy, the intended receiver. Dante Robinson in the vicinity for the Falcons. So that'll make it 3rd down and goal at the 6. Robinson, the former Houston Texan, finding a great home here with this Falcons team. So on 3rd down and goal, Steve Smith splits wide. He's at the top of your screen, now in motion. Newton looking in the corner and incomplete. Smith, the intended receiver. And Newton under pressure.
And they had exactly what they wanted. They had the route. The only thing they didn't get was the accuracy on the throw. One of the few misfires we've seen early from Cam Newton. Steve Smith was there. Too much on the football, not enough loft in air.
So that brings on Graham Gano. Signed as a free agent November 21st after Justin Medlock was waived. He's in to attempt a 24-yarder.
Only their 12th attempt of the year.
Extra point up and good. Field goal up and good. So with 10:55 to go in the 2nd quarter, Panthers take a 10-0 lead over the Falcons.
Today's game is sponsored by Ted Unrated, stuffed with even more laughs on Blu-ray and DVD December 11th. By Chevrolet, from kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep. And by Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by light, a watch that never needs a battery.
Welcome back. 10-0 Carolina as you take a look at the drive. 17 plays, 72 yards. Charles, 9 minutes they ate up on the drive.
And it still feels a little bit like a missed opportunity because they only get a field goal out of that. Look at that. Those are gaudy numbers. They did it the Atlanta Falcons way. Eat up clock. Significant number of plays on a drive. Wear down a defense, but only got 3 out of it.
Rodgers will take a knee. And here comes Matt Ryan, his team down 10-zip. He'll look to get the offense going right after this.
Killing it.
Welcome back. First down at 10 at the 20-yard line. Here's Michael Turner running right. And Michael Turner lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Luke Kuechly, the impressive rookie linebacker out of Boston College with the tackle. Kuechly on the season, moved to middle linebacker in week 5. First round pick, 9th overall, 4th in the NFL with 114 tackles. And you look at the time of possession, Carolina just dominating the football.
Last week against Kansas City dominated them in time of possession by almost 15 minutes.
Ryan drops it off out of the backfield. Rodgers. And Rodgers pulled down at the 25. Kuechly once again. Time now to go to Los Angeles for a game break. Here's Kirk Menefee.
And it's time to go to the Metrodome where Adrian Peterson already has 2 rushing touchdowns against the Bears. That 1-yarder put them up 14-0. That's where it stands as they wind down the first quarter. Gus and Charles, great to hear you guys on a Sunday.
Thank you, Kurt. Nice to be heard. And how about the man they should be calling Wolverine in Minnesota? Adrian Peterson regenerated off of the knee and might go for 2,000 yards.
Third down and 5 to the 25. Falcons need to go to the 30. Here's Ryan. Short drop underneath, and he won't get there. Mike Palmer with the catch, but he's wrapped up immediately. This time it's Thomas Davis. And it looks like the Falcons are thinking about it. Now they'll send the punt team off.
And I think that's the prudent move by Mike Smith. Too early in the game to worry about it. Number of possessions left. Punt it away, see if they can get some field position, get some equilibrium. But on that drive, the significant plays on defense were made by linebackers for Carolina. Luke Kuechly, the rookie, and then on the last pass, Thomas Davis, tackle on the spot, not giving up the first down.
Remember, the last time these two teams played, Atlanta came back after trailing 23-7 to win it. They're caught at the 25. 46-yard punt. Steve Smith, truly one of the greats for over a decade. We'll see if Cam Newton can get him the rock right after this.
Today's game is sponsored by the Buick Verano. Unexpected luxury in a car this size.
10-zip, Carolina playing some good football here in the first half. 8:43 to go as Cam Newton and company take over at the 25. Here's Newton throwing on first down. Over the middle. Caught. Guess who? Steve Smith at the 45-yard line. The ageless wonder stopped by Akeem Dent.
Still a little ticked off about being missed on the contested touchdown pass on the last drive. Watch him work and then work inside, right across the field, and that could not have been a better connection. Give credit to the Carolina offensive line, which has had a lot of injuries, a lot of reshuffling, but to throw that deep of a route, you have to have time for your quarterback, and they gave it to him.
88 straight games with a catch dating back to 2006. First down and 10 at the 45. Play fake again. Here's Newton to the sideline. Oh, what a catch by Smith as he went behind him to pull it down, and he's out of bounds at the 40. Cam Newton missed him on their last drive, and I think Smith, eternally angry on the football field, got his quarterback's attention.
He got his attention, demands the football, and Cam says no problem. But credit again, offensive line and fullback Mike Tolbert with excellent pass protection to give him the time.
7:38 to play in the second. Panthers leading and driving once again. 7:38 to play in the second quarter. The Carolina Panthers with a 10-0 lead in the football at the Atlanta 40-yard line. First down.
And they feel like they missed an opportunity on their last drive when they just kicked the field goal. I think they attacked downfield towards the end zone.
Steve Smith starting to warm up now. 3 catches, 45 yards.
False start offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
And that's the first flag of the day for Carolina.
You know, they say never bring up things unless you want to jinx them. Well, our man Scott here, our ace spotter, right in the break says, you know, there hasn't been a flag this whole game yet. And I said, really? First flag.
First down and 15 at the 45. Newton. Steve Smith gobbled it up. Smith still running hard and gets to the 20. Robert McLean there to knock him out of bounds.
And how about this? Watch Smith, okay? Because this is initially covered by Christopher Owens, number 21. And then he just makes a move and has like a telepathy with Cam Newton to understand that he's not staying in that spot. He's going to move downfield a little bit farther. Cam recognized it and put it on him for a significant gain.
A gain of 22 yards in 1 year after leading the NFL with 90 plays of 20 yards or more. The Panthers are right back near the top, ranking second behind Indianapolis in that category. That's Carolina's third play of 20 or more yards today. Newton pumping. Newton trying to escape and goes down. That's a sack. He is certainly in the grasp. Nice job by Vance
Progress
Walker.
was being driven back. Second down. It was a sack.
So Vance Walker dropping Newton.
One of the few times they've gotten the push that they want inside to try and get into the face and into the clean area to throw the football that Cam Newton would desire.
Second down at 17 at the 30-yard line. Newton. Underneath. Ball caught by Edwards. Armani Edwards close to the original line of scrimmage. And the numbers on Cam Newton thus far, 13 of 16. D'Angelo Williams has rushed well. Steve Smith, great first half with 4 catches and 67 yards. Third down and 10 at the 23.
And this is another opportunity for Atlanta's defense to try and help their offense if they can force a field goal attempt here. Carolina needing the touchdown to put the pressure on.
Here's Newton to Smith. Incomplete. Steve Smith one-on-one with Christopher Owens.
Look at that face. See that face, partner?
Yes.
You know what that face really is, though? Just put it in an area to give me a chance. See, when the ball's over near the stands, no chance. Give me a chance to go up and fight for the football, I think is what the face of Steve Smith is saying coming back to the line of scrimmage.
So Graham Gano, good from 24. This one will be from 41 yards away. Perfect. 4:58 to play in the second quarter. Panthers with a 13-0 lead over the Falcons. Welcome back, 13-0. Carolina with the lead, the great Steve Smith. As you take a look at the total yards, 206 to 18. 33 plays for Carolina, only 8 for Matt Ryan. And the Falcons. But I ran into some Falcon fans in the hotel, and one man was wearing a Tony Gonzalez jersey. And I said, well, what do you think today? And he said, one thing is for sure, my Falcons will make it hard on us fans. They always do it the hard way. They wait to the end to keep fannies in the seats.
It's funny, they do have that reputation of going down to the wire. I think they've had, what, 5 fourth-quarter comebacks already this year?
Rodgers brings it out of the end zone. And gets to the 20-yard line. Well, folks, on January 4th, one of the best bowl games of the year is on Fox as Heisman Trophy winner and one of the most talked about players in the country, Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, leads 9th-ranked Texas A&M against the 11th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. The AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, January 4th only on Fox. That was something last night to watch Johnny Football win that Heisman Trophy.
And what was even more impressive was his acceptance speech. I thought for a freshman guy winning it, I thought he did a tremendous job.
First down at 10 to 20. Ryan, he'll drop it off. Rodgers breaks a couple of tackles, still running. Jacquizz battering ram as he gets up to the 30. And you've been seeing a lot more Jacquizz Rodgers with Atlanta, especially on third down this year.
And you'll keep seeing that expand because he makes plays like this often. You just mentioned, you just called a 5'6" guy a battering ram. That tells you about Jacquizz Rodgers. He can run inside with power.
Second down and 1 at the 29. Ryan, quick strike, Julio Jones. But what a player this young man is in his second year out of Alabama. That's his 59th catch. He's closing in on 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he's averaging close to 17 yards per grab.
Caught an 80-yard touchdown against Tampa Bay. A huge play that helped Atlanta win a close one on the road. I call him Secretariat. When he gets going full out, he will not be caught.
Ryan looking for Jones once again. Timing a little bit off as that one goes out of bounds in front of Josh Norman, the rookie out of Coastal Carolina. Second down and 10. Ryan, straight drop. And incomplete. Carolina not fighting on what Atlanta was offering up.
And a quick change up there, because Atlanta struggled their first 2 drives and they went no huddle on the last play. But you talked about the cat and mouse. Look at the average yards to go on 3rd down. It's been big for Atlanta today. But the cat and mouse there, not only did Atlanta check off on offense, Carolina changed up on defense and won on that play.
3rd down and 10 at the 37. Fans getting into it now. Ryan out of a gun. Ryan to Tony Gonzalez, and Gonzalez knocked backwards. What a nice job defensively. DJ Campbell.
It's a very young defense playing for Carolina, but look at what they're doing. They're going to go man coverage and lock up, which means they're bringing a lot of people. And coming from a long distance, DJ Campbell. This is just the 3rd game he's been active all year, getting his first start in the NFL. Terrific play in the open field against a future Hall of Fame tight end.
So with 3:47 to go, the 11-1 Atlanta Falcons in some trouble here in Carolina. Joe Adams get away from the football. And Carolina will have it at the 27. Let's go to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Oh, no trouble scoring touchdowns today, at least not for Anquan Bolden. Joe Flacco and Bolden hook up for the 2nd time in this game against the Redskins. That one from 31 yards out, evens the score at 14 apiece in the 2nd quarter. Gus in charge.
And thank you very much, Kurt. Washington right in the hunt. They could maybe catch up with the football Giants.
And we see them, and remember, they just got done beating the Giants, trying to chase them down. But Anquan Bolden with that touchdown reminds me of the player we're about to see now on offense for Carolina. That's Steve Smith. Smaller guys, but strong physical route runners. Very aggressive in what they do.
D'Angelo Williams on the pitch. He's trying to get outside, gets to the 30, picks up a couple. Dante Robinson with the tackle. The 2 Heisman Trophy winners, one we're looking at now and one we'll see, Charles, in a few weeks, Johnny Manziel.
Those numbers he's putting up. Remember, Texas A&M moved to the SEC their first year there. So the numbers that he was chasing down and passing by in some cases were the ones Cam Newton put up. The guy we're watching now with Auburn.
Cam Newton, we asked him in our meeting the other day, who did you vote for? He had a big smile on his face and he said, that's personal. Here's Newton now. Over the middle, caught. D'Angelo Williams gets to the 32. We also asked him and said, well, who do you like in the national championship game? Notre Dame or Alabama? I mean, you went to Auburn, you can't root for Alabama. He says, who says I can't root for Alabama? I root for the SEC.
So I think we have our answer, even though he wouldn't give it to us. But so far today, he's playing up to the capabilities of what he showed at Auburn. Save for 2 opportunities I think he'd like to have back. Both of them with Steve Smith in the end zone on successive drives.
3rd down and 6 at the 32. Newton steps up in the pocket. Wants to run it now. A big lane for Cam Newton. Now he'll break it across the field and go down inside Atlanta territory. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning. On 3rd and 6, he gets 21. The Carolina Panthers look terrific in the first half, up 13-0. Welcome back to the 36th meeting between these 2 NFC South rivals. First down and 10 at the 47. Newton steps into his throw, wide open. Oh, and he overthrows Lewis Murphy. He'd like to have that one back.
Murphy's number 83 out here working against Dante Robinson, number 23. Out and up, and he totally beats Robinson. Has him, and that ball has to be completed. Cam Newton knows that one is on him. That's in basketball terms, missing a layup.
Atlanta leads this series 23-12, having won the last 5 meetings and scoring at least 30 points in all 5 games. Different story in the first half here. Newton to throw it again. Cam Newton flushed out of the pocket, throws on a run. Oh, incomplete. Steve Smith had it in his hands, but broken up at the last moment by Christopher Owens. Owens, very physical corner in his 4th year out of San Jose State.
2 plays ago, Cam Newton broke contain and ran for 21 yards and picked up a big first down. On that one, he decided he wanted to buy more time to give Steve Smith a chance to run an extra route downfield and tried to put it on him down there. Excellent play by Owens, breaking it up.
Makes it 3rd down and 10 at the 47. Carolina 5 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Newton looking. Oh, beautiful throw. Steve Smith with the catch. We told you that ball could get there in a hurry. Steve Smith picks up the first down, a 19-yard gain, and Cam Newton, Charles, threw a rocket.
And watch at the end, Steve Smith, watch the hands because this ball is contested. You see that? Owens was contesting the catch.
Tolbert running the football.
Look at the end of the play. Steve Smith's strong hands gets both feet down, and that's being contested the whole way by Christopher Owens. And Cam Newton, not only does he have a strong arm, but you give him that little extra hop step to throw to get into it. Wow.
Steve Smith last week, 5 catches, 120 yards and a touchdown. His 42nd career 100-yard game against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd down, 9 to the 27.
Haven't called Greg Olson's name in a while.
Here's Newton, sideline. Ball caught inside the 20. Guess who? It's Greg Olson. You just mentioned him, partner. You and the Panthers thinking with the same brain now after he picks up 8.
It's that type of territory for your big-time tight end, and Olson has elevated his play. And look how he gets the first foot down and drags the second one to make it a legal catch.
From the 19, D'Angelo Williams. Making people miss. He gets inside the 15, and just look at this schedule for the Panthers this year. As Matt Ryan watches, they've lost so many close games. 35-27 to New Orleans, 30-28 to Atlanta. Now Newton looking, steps up, keeps his balance, and he'll get rid of it. Just on and on. 19-14 to Dallas. 23-22 to Chicago, 21-13 to Washington.
And that's what Ron Rivera, their head coach, calls the here it comes mentality. At some point in the game, things are moving along, you're feeling good, you got a chance to win, but he feels like his team has a here it comes. And when you have that type of mentality, it definitely gets that way. They've got to find a way to win one of those close games you're talking about, partner, break through and change their confidence level. This will be an interesting one because the play was over for a while. Now they're getting together. Now the flags come out. Let's see what this discussion brings us. I can't even give you a first guess on this one. I have no idea.
Mike Smith, 53 years old in his 5th season. 7-2 record versus Carolina, Coach Smith. And he's one of the guys that you root for as you see him coming up. When he was with Baltimore as an assistant with Coach Billick. Then he went to Jacksonville as an assistant with Coach Del Rio.
Before the play occurred, it was a false start by the right tackle, number 77. The play does not count. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So that, they said 77, which would be Byron Bell here. Let's see. Okay, there's the flinch, and Abraham's calling it. The hard part for everyone is we didn't see a flag until the play was over. That's why it's hard for Ron Rivera to swallow this. He said, what are you talking about? The call is actually correct. We saw the flinch in the movement by the tackle. The question is, why didn't the flag come out immediately as it usually does?
So that'll make it first down and 15 for the Panthers. 38 seconds remaining in the half.
What is it, man?
Newton trying to punch one in before they head into the locker room. Newton in the end zone. Murphy incomplete. Caught the ball, couldn't get his feet down. Lewis Murphy.
At the end of the play, there's the catch. 1 foot, nope, not even 1 foot, because it's right on the white as it came down. See Chris Hope, number 24, the former Pro Bowl safety, playing today for William Moore, who's having a tremendous season, has a sore hamstring, missing today's game. Hope going back into the starting lineup.
So that makes it second down and 15 at the 19. 33 seconds to go. Newton. Breaks contained. Newton on the move. And incomplete. Rick Olsen, the intended receiver. Don't forget, coming up, the Visa halftime report. Big Ben returning.
Never worry much about Big Ben playing in pain, do you? That guy shows up. A lot of people are thinking maybe he should take another week or two and get right, but he wants to play, and a lot of reaction there on that last catch by Olsen that was determined out of bounds.
Third down and 15 at the 19. D'Angelo Williams in the backfield with Cam Newton. Here's Newton. Far side. Caught. Murphy fighting. And Murphy out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
This will give Carolina a field goal attempt opportunity, and they've carried it to Atlanta the whole first half. What Atlanta will go into the locker room feeling, whether this is made or missed, is we're still in this, because they've limited them to field goal opportunities on most of their drives today. This game could have been blown wide open. Instead, it's still in reach for the Atlanta Falcons, no matter what happens on this field goal attempt.
So Graham Gano has been perfect, 2 for 2 in the first half. Good from 24 and 41 yards away. This one will be a 31-yard attempt.
You mentioned those omens in the beginning with the coin toss, and they won it, and they played so well. Look at that. Only team not to score in the last 2 minutes of either half. They have a chance to break another one right here.
Gets it up. And good. 3 for 3 in the first half for Graham Gano. And the Carolina Panthers take a 16-0 lead in the halftime against the 11-1 Atlanta Falcons. Work to be done for Smitty and his guys.
Dominant first half for Carolina, both sides of the football. An underrated defense doesn't get enough credit. They shut down the high-flying Falcons, shut them out in the first half. How about time of possession? 23-48 for Carolina, 6-12 for Atlanta. But all that being said, if you're the Falcons, it's still just 16-0. And with their offense, they like their chances in the second half.
Cam Newton, 17 of 25, 178 yards, a touchdown and no picks in the first half. Steve Smith, 5 catches, 86 yards in the first half for Carolina.
In Atlanta, nothing in the first half. Look at that, just 3 possessions. 13 plays run. And you don't even recognize that as Atlanta Falcons. All credit to Sean McDermott, defensive coordinator, and the Carolina Panthers defense. They've kept the pressure on the entire first half. So
the Panthers, a team with only 3 wins this season, but as we brought up, They've lost a number of close games, head into the locker room, and they are blanking Atlanta.
And they're beating them at their own game in a lot of ways. They're physical with them. They've made the big plays. You mentioned it in the first half, Gus, the strikes downfield, the number of plays over 20 yards. So they're hitting them with the big explosive plays also. The only good thing for Atlanta is they've limited them to field goals, except for the one touchdown pass from Cam Newton to Greg Olsen. Other than that, it's been field goals, which allows Atlanta to stay in the game.
And the Falcons did come back from 16 down in their first meeting. They trailed at one time, 23-7. So our halftime score, 16-0. Panthers on top of the Falcons. Now we go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime, which starts now.
Come on, baby, free yourself. Hey, know what you're doing. Free yourself. Hey, don't let nobody try to steal your soul. You're the original.
Welcome back. Our halftime score, Carolina with a 16-0 lead over the Falcons. And follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Gus Johnson along with Charles Davis. Offense, defense, special teams. Carolina doing a really nice job in that first half.
They dominated in every phase and really limited Atlanta's offense. Only had 3 possessions, got nothing done. But both of these teams have been in this spot before all year long. Carolina with leads, not able to hold them. Atlanta's been down, able to come back. Take a look at the halftime stats. Only 13 offensive plays run to 45 for Carolina for Atlanta. Just 2 first downs for Atlanta in the first half. Big credit to Carolina's defense. Now can they finally find that breakthrough? That game that's close where they can get a win.
So the Falcons will start at the 20-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Christina Pink.
Thanks, Gus. Well, this is the first time all season that the Falcons have failed to score in the first half. Mike Smith told me at halftime they frankly whooped our tails, and we are lucky that we have 30 more minutes of football to play. He said defensively they have to get off the field on 3rd down. Ron Rivera saying that his team has to get in the end zone. They can't settle for field goals. And defensively, he says they just have to keep playing physical and jamming those receivers at the line of scrimmage. Gus?
All right, thank you very much, Christina. First down and 10 at the 20-yard line for Matt Ryan. Ryan 7 of 10, 40 yards in the first half. Out of the shotgun, throwing on first down over the middle. And caught Roddy White. First time we've called his name this afternoon. He gained 17.
And notice Atlanta coming out in a no huddle to start the second half. I think Dirk Cutter, the offense coordinator, Matt Ryan is very comfortable in this type of a situation. They're trying to get this team a spark. They're trying to get them moving. First half, they weren't doing that at all.
Empty backfield for Ryan. Underneath. And Roddy White again. So back-to-back catches for White. Remember, he came into this game with 68 catches for over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. One of the great receivers in the NFL. Length in the first half. First down to the 48. Michael Turner. And Michael Turner's role has changed a bit this season.
Michael Turner's odometer has been turned over a lot as a runner. As we look at the first half recap, Atlanta punting on all 3 possessions. Carolina scored on all 4. But he has had significant carries since he's come to Atlanta. And what they're trying to do is dial those carries back, utilize more of a running back committee with him, Jacquizz Rodgers, and of course Jason Snell, and have Michael Turner ready to roll come playoff time when they know they need the heavy lifting.
Second down and 7. Julio Jones in motion.
Hey, Oakland. Screen.
Ryan. Incomplete. Julio Jones, the intended receiver. Collectively, for this Atlanta team, they are, even though they won't really talk about it, very aware of what their playoff record has been over the last couple of years.
Hey, everything they've done this year has been with an eye towards the playoffs. They haven't treated it as a foregone conclusion, but they expected to be there, and they're in as the champions. But nothing works for them now unless they find a way to win games in the playoffs.
Third down and 7. Ryan hit as he lets it go. And incomplete. So the Falcons coming up empty on their first drive of the second half as Matt Ryan trots off the field. Carolina continuing to get good pressure on them.
Yeah, even with the jump start going to the no-huddle offense, Carolina adjusted to it, and you just mentioned it, the hit and the pressure. Because Matt Ryan had an open receiver and was trying to get it to him, but the hit knocked the ball off target, forcing Atlanta to punt it.
Joe Adams back deep. And Adams signaling for the fair catch, and he has it inside the 20. 16-0. Panthers turn back the Falcons. Here comes Cam and company right after this.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Jeep Grand Cherokee. By State Farm. Get to a better state with a discount double check. And by T-Mobile. Nationwide 4G coverage from coast to coast.
16-0 as we start the third quarter. Matt Ryan trying to come up with some answers for the Carolina defense. Meanwhile, Cam Newton takes over at his own 14, rolling out of the pocket. Oh, nice catch by Tolbert. And Tolbert gets up to the 20-yard line. Wow. Let's take a look at what happened in the last meeting between these two teams. Week 4 in Atlanta, the Panthers were leading with less than 2 minutes left in the fourth when Cam Newton fumbled, forcing the Panthers to punt the ball. Matt Ryan then hit Roddy White for 59 yards, setting up a Matt Bryant 40-yard field goal that gave Atlanta the win in the final seconds. Final score, Atlanta 30, Carolina 28. Since that time, Cam Newton has been walking around the facility with the football tucked in his hand. 2nd and 2. Delayed handoff, D'Angelo Williams gets outside and goes down. Nicholas with the tackle. And D'Angelo close to the first down. Last 4 games, Cam Newton putting up very nice numbers. The most important, turnovers. No turnovers.
And that's so significant for him, you know, because if you look back at Cam Newton's career, in any game he's played in Carolina where he's thrown an interception, they have not won the football game. Any game where he's had 0 interceptions, his record is very good.
3rd down and 1. D'Angelo Williams make that Mike Tolbert with the first down. And Christina.
Hey, Gus, you mentioned Cam walking around with that football all through the facility after he fumbled in that game in week 4. He said, it's all about accountability. I do not want to make the same mistake again. Players, other players and coaches were trying to knock that ball out when he was walking around. But he says he's holding on to that one tight, and he wants to make sure that he gets better.
Yeah, and that hasn't just been that 1 week after that game. That's been since that point on, almost recreating a scene from the movie The Program, where anyone was allowed to touch and knock the football free, and if that happened, everyone was in trouble.
Newton running. Newton gets to the corner. Cam down the sideline. Cam Newton. Hesitation. Still on his feet. Cam Newton. Touchdown, Carolina. What a play. Superman. And what a block by Steve Smith. 72 yards.
The zone read for the quarterback. Look at that right there. Look at that gap that's created, and a nice block at the point of attack by Greg Olsen. Now watch downfield. Cam hesitates. Why? To set up that right there. The block by Steve Smith, number 89, working on the corner. Terrific job. Cam Newton. That was Chris Hope that Steve Smith was blocking on downfield. But how about, you called it, Gus, the hesitation, but the hesitation was to set up the block that allowed him to vault into the end zone and break out the Superman pose.
Extra point up and good. 11:01 to go in the third. Fireworks in the Queen City. Cam Newton getting it done. Cam Newton, what a run. As he goes 72 yards for a touchdown, the first quarterback in Carolina history with 100 yards rushing. Newton, 6 carries, 117. But more importantly, the Panthers take a 23-0 lead. Line drive kick picked up at the 10-yard line by Jason Snelling, and he gets blown up at the 15. Steve Smith, great blocking on the Newton run. Falcons, looks like they ate the cheese. Happy Cam Newton on the Carolina sideline. His team goes up 23-0 over the Atlanta Falcons.
And when you're up 23-0, no one criticizes a towel over your head on the sidelines.
Absolutely right. First down and 10 at the 16 for Matt Ryan. In one of those days as he pitches it to Rodgers. And Rodgers crosses the 20 and gets to the 23-yard line. And call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game.
And continuing to try to jumpstart their offense, staying out of the huddle after the offensive possession begins on second down.
Second down and 4. Ryan lines up, throws a strike to Julio Jones. First down, Falcons at the 30-yard line. Josh Thomas there defensively for Carolina as the Falcons get to the line of scrimmage quickly. Draw play, Rodgers. And Rodgers up to the 35 before being taken down. Thomas Davis, James Dockery combining on the tackle.
That chess match that's going on right now between offense and defense. That's Matt Ryan at quarterback and Luke Kuechly, number 59, in middle linebacker. A rookie who moved to middle linebacker game 5 after injury to John Beeson, trying to match Matt Ryan in terms of checks. Look at Kuechly now, organizing his defense in the middle.
Ryan over the middle. Tony Gonzalez with the grab. And Gonzalez will get inside Panthers territory. And Tony Gonzalez, 16 years in the NFL, out of Cal. He's done so many things, broken so many records. His body is still in great shape. He says he's 95% sure he'll retire at the end of the season. I will go with the 5% and say he's coming back.
But if he continues to play at this level and the Falcons have success, it'll be hard for him to totally walk away.
One-year contract, year to year in Atlanta. First down and 10 at the 48. Here's Ryan over the middle. Roddy White. Nice route, and he'll get to the 32s. James Dockery tracked him down.
And now that they're down 23-0, not that they weren't trying before, but who do you lean on and rely on when you're in a really tough situation?
Your best player.
And who's catching the football now? Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White, trying to hit Julio Jones, trying to go to all his top targets, needing his playmakers to make plays and help Atlanta try to get back into this game.
First down at the Carolina 33. Ryan underneath. Once again, it's Tony Gonzalez. Gonzalez has caught a pass in 192 straight games, the longest active streak in the NFL. He's the NFL's #2 all-time receiver, trailing only the great Jerry Rice. Leads his team in receptions, coming in with 73. Now Rodgers, beautiful move as he picks up a first down.
And that move he made in the hole with the vision to see the defender coming and made the cut and had the defender sprawling and not getting anything on the tackle. Significant play by the youngster out of Oregon State.
First down and 10 now. Best drive of the day for Atlanta at the Carolina 19. Ryan. Gonzalez again inside the 15-yard line.
You know, Carolina's done very well today on defense, in my estimation. As we look at this, the first red zone possession for Atlanta. They've not given up any huge plays downfield to Matt Ryan. Atlanta thought if they could block the front four, they had some shots downfield against a rookie corner, Josh Norman. A second-year guy, Josh Thomas. Captain Munner in a smaller corner. They have not had those types of plays today.
2nd and 4, the 13. Ryan. Sideline incomplete. Intended for Jason Snelling out of the backfield. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. The Falcons are 2nd in the NFL in 3rd down conversions at 46%. Trailing only New England's gaudy 53%. 0 for 4 today, though. 3rd and 4 at the 13.
And they're putting Roddy White in the slot. That's where he makes plays down in the red zone. White here, Gonzalez here. Their slot guys are big in this types of situations.
Ryan to Gonzalez, incomplete. Ryan knocked down on the throw under pressure. Charles Johnson in the backfield.
And that's what disrupted the play. Charles Johnson coming from the left side of your screen, working against Sam Baker. Got to Matt Ryan enough to throw off the timing of the play. The Falcons will go for it here.
On 4th down and 4 at the 13. Smitty gambling. Julio Jones at the top of your screen. Drew Davis at the bottom. Ryan underneath, caught by Snelling, and it looks like Snelling has the 1st down.
And you called it a gamble, and it was, because if they kick the field goal there, then they have 3 more possessions if they're able to hold them, if they're scoring touchdowns, to be in good shape. He takes the gamble there that he doesn't want the field goal, continues to try to get the touchdown. They pick it up on what is a long shovel pass to Jason Snelling.
1st down and goal at the 3-yard line. Make that the 8-yard line. And we'll take a break. 5:26 to play in the 3rd, 23-0 Carolina. But here come the Falcons. The Falcons had 66 yards of offense before this drive. On this drive, 76 yards. Ryan 6 of 8, 59. And now Atlanta faced with a 1st down and goal at the 8. Rodgers, the single setback. And they'll give it to him running right. Jaquiz tumbles forward. And he'll get to about the 3.
And that's where people get fooled by Jaquiz Rodgers. Listed 5'6", 196 pounds. You look at his stature, and you think he's going to run to the edges or outside. Way more of his runs are inside the tackles than they are out in space from the running back position.
Michael Turner comes in with the ball at the 4, 2nd and goal. And now a timeout called by Carolina, their first.
That's their first.
Of the 2nd half. .453 to play in the 3rd quarter. Carolina with the lead. But the Falcons threatening 2nd and goal at the 4. Michael Turner in the backfield. Cox in motion. Ryan to throw. Ryan in the corner. Touchdown. Roddy White. And the Falcons are on the board.
And look at this. This is going to be a crossing route. He's going to just get lost in the traffic because there's a route behind him that draws attention. And he ends up with Thomas Davis. Chase, look at Thomas Davis looking back. That's the universal sign of, I wasn't supposed to have him. Someone else was. Touchdown, Atlanta.
5th receiving touchdown of the season for Roddy White as Matt Ryan throws his 23rd touchdown of the year. And with 4:48 to go in the third quarter, our score 23-7. Now don't forget, join the NFL in celebrating 50 years of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In this golden anniversary, come to Canton and join more than 10 million fans who have made the pilgrimage to the birthplace of the National Football League. Visit profootballhof.com for more details. Have you been?
I have.
I have too.
You?
It was awesome.
And Steve Perry, who runs the Hall of Fame, has done a really nice job of elevating the stature there, updating exhibits, you know, all the modern stuff that kids want, the gadgets and the things you can touch and play. It's tremendous. And I love looking back into history and seeing the evolution of every part of this game. The equipment, the ball, the uniforms, the rivalries, where teams were and where they moved. I can get lost there for days.
It's a wonderful experience. As we take a look at the offense today, first 4 drives, 66 yards for Atlanta. On the last drive, 84 yards, 7 touchdowns, resulting in 7 points. So let's see how this Carolina team responds. Armand Smith back deep. And he'll bring this one out of the end zone. And Smith up to the 20-yard line. So let's take a look at what Cam Newton has done today.
Hasn't been much wrong with what he's done. Look at this pass here to Greg Olsen, the first touchdown of the game. Eludes Corey Peters, who should have had a sack in the backfield, turned it into a 21-yard pickup. And then the big run down the sideline. Let Steve Smith get the last block. Vaults into the end zone, and yes, Cam Newton can truly do it all.
5 possessions in this game for Carolina, 5 scores. You see Newton has gone over the 100-yard rushing mark. He's 18 of 26, 186 yards passing and a touchdown. He'll throw here. And Newton, another strike. Steve Smith climbing up to bring it down. Smith has been really good in this game as well.
The throw, look at Steve Smith elevate, and he has such a sense of space and proportion. Knew that he was close to the sideline, got the feet down to complete the process of the catch.
Steve Smith, 6 1,000-yard seasons, 26th on the NFL's all-time list, with over 11,000 receiving yards, over 100 yards already. And we're not in the fourth quarter. First down and 10. D'Angelo Williams. And when we talked to Atlanta via conference call this week, the defensive coaches, the first thing they talked about, we have to get better at stopping the run. And your question was, you're 11-1. I mean, it seems like you've done a good job, but you know, that wasn't the way they were feeling.
No, they were feeling like they still needed to get better in terms of shutting teams down and forcing them to be a little more one-dimensional and throw the football.
Injured Panther on the field. And that is Jeff Hangartner back after this. 23-7, good sign for Carolina here.
Yeah, Jeff Hangartner walking off under his own power, starting at center now, and so the replacement, and they've had trouble all year long, the offensive line will be number 71, Thomas Austin, a second-year player out of Clemson.
On second down and 12. D'Angelo Williams with running room. He gets to the 41. Bierman with the tackle.
And this is where it all started for them. That's Ryan Khalil in the baseball cap and the Panthers shirt, the long light-colored shirt. The Pro Bowl center who had said before the season the Panthers were going to the Super Bowl and then got hurt early in the year. And boy, if they missed him. Hangartner had to move from guard to center. And now with Hangartner hurt, you're bringing in Thomas Austin, who just was signed off of the practice squad recently. Let's see if Atlanta keeps someone over his nose and tests his skills early to see how he adjusts in this game.
Third down and 4. Newton, incomplete. Steve Smith, the intended receiver.
And see, right here, that's Babineau. They're going to try and keep some pressure on the young center while he's in the game to see if he can handle that pressure. New guy in the game, that's always an unwritten rule. New guys out there, test him immediately. And Cam Newton misfires on the pass. Atlanta gets off the field.
Brad Northman, first punt of the game, and he gets off a missile all the way into the end zone for a touchback. 58-yard punt. Now this Tuesday, Fox has a gift for the entire family. All new holiday comedies keep you laughing with Raising Hope, followed by Ben and Kate, New Girl, and The Mindy Project. Nothing's better than the gift of laughter, all starting at 8/7 Central this Tuesday on Fox. Always unexpected. So you get the feeling that the momentum is starting to shift a bit in Atlanta's favor.
Well, these hurry-up offense helped them, and they went downfield and scored. And they used their significant playmakers to get them in that position. And that transferred that momentum you're talking about to their defense. They got off the field and kept time in the third quarter for the offense to roll again. We're down to a two-possession game. Touchdowns and two-point conversions. Atlanta only down 16 at this point.
First down, he'll drop it off. Rodgers. And Rodgers breaking tackles, crossing the 25 up to the 27, maybe the 28. Munnerlyn with the tackle.
Have we seen anyone tackle Jacquizz Rodgers today one-on-one only? Right? I think he's broken through the first and the initial contact on every hit he's had so far today.
Second down and short at the 28.
False start offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
I think they could have nailed a couple of guys on that. That looked like the ball came out of count later than they thought it would. And they called 77, but I thought Sam Baker, 72, could have been there. And the Falcons came into this game leading the NFL in fewest penalties, only 44. And they've been in the top 10 in that category each of Mike Smith's 5 years in Atlanta. That tells you about the discipline they play with, yet they still play on the edge with aggressiveness.
Second and 7. Ryan over the middle. Roddy White. And Roddy White with the football at the 35 will pick up the first down in front of DJ Campbell after a 14-yard gain.
And the game now is on the Atlanta defense to keep Carolina out of the end zone and the Atlanta offensive line to keep Matt Ryan clean in the pocket. When they're able to do that, they believe they can make plays downfield against a depleted secondary.
Ryan going for it all. Roddy White tripping. And he had a step on James Dockery.
That was the shot they were looking for. See Dockery peeking back into the backfield. He lost a step. And then feet got tangled up with Roddy White. And Dockery was really fortunate. That should have been a throw, catch, run into the end zone for Atlanta. Instead, a missed opportunity.
Second down.
3-4.
Here's a draw play, Turner. And Michael Turner doesn't go far. That's because Luke Kuechly was there.
Can't say enough about that youngster in the middle, can you?
Not at all.
He started the season playing an unfamiliar position, which was outside linebacker. Came out of Boston College as a middle linebacker, but that's John Beeson's position. But when Beeson was hurt, they flipped him to the middle, and he got comfortable in a hurry.
Third down and 8 at the 39. Atlanta 0 for 5 on third down conversion. Matt Ryan to the sideline. Oh, beautiful throw. And a great catch out of bounds. Roddy White, first down, Falcons.
They're at that stage where they have to have it. 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Their third down woes were carrying over from the from the New Orleans game, where they picked up 1 first down on third downs in 11 attempts.
Bryant pumping, and nobody home. Julio Jones, closest man to the football. 7 seconds remaining in the quarter. Some pressure being applied by this Carolina defense.
That was Nate Chandler, the rookie out of UCLA, and they're rolling in defensive linemen trying to keep them fresh. And we're seeing Frank Alexander, 90, put pressure on Matt Ryan. That play was Chandler, 78, in addition to Charles Johnson, 95, and Greg Hardy, 76.
2nd and 10. Ryan. Underneath. Oh, what a catch by Julio Jones as he laid out and pulled it in at the 21. And that'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, the Panthers 23, the Falcons 7. The Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages from your local station. Back as we take a look at the scoring by quarters. Atlanta finally getting on the board in the 3rd. Take a look at the last catch.
Look at those strong hands keeping the ball off the ground. Julio Jones.
We start the 4th quarter. Atlanta with the football at the Carolina 22. Ryan. Caught Julio Jones again. Did he get both feet in bounds? No. He gets up slowly.
And I think Matt Ryan had his choice of 2 targets and decided to go outside with Julio Jones, but I thought Roddy White down the middle, I thought that's where he would pull the trigger first. And he ended up going outside, and it was an incomplete pass.
2nd and 10. Out of the offset eye, Rodgers the deep man. Ryan, incomplete. This time, Drew Davis, the intended receiver. First full year out of Oregon.
Now they bring back all their playmakers. Gonzalez trots back on the field. Julio Jones back on the field. Roddy White already in the game. And Jaquiz Rodgers will be their playmaker in the backfield now.
3rd down and 10. Here's Ryan over the middle. Tony Gonzalez, 1st down, Falcons. He posted up at the 10-yard line. And Matt Ryan put it on him on 3rd and 10. He gets 11.
Watch how a future Hall of Famer runs this route. I mean, what he does with Luke Kuechly, who had good coverage, but Gonzalez finds a way to uncover himself. Right here inside, watch as he goes downfield. Good coverage by Kuechly, and then he uncovers with that subtle little push downfield. Kuechly wanted a flag. You don't get that with the future Hall of Famer running the route against you.
1st down and 10 at the 11. Ryan looks backside. Julio Jones. Touchdown Falcons. And here we go again. The Atlanta Falcons.
And will they go for 2 here? Remember, they're down 16. Do they want to go for 2 on this play? I think they will. Haruki Nakamura, the safety, hurt on the play. But how about that tunnel screen? Todd McClure, number 62, the center, snapped the ball and then got out in front on the screen when Julio Jones came back inside to complete the block.
Falcons going for 2. Jason Snelling in the backfield with Ryan as he motions across Roddy White.
Timeout Carolina. That's their 2nd. It's a 30-second timeout.
And both of those are on defense this half, trying to get lined up and ready. You see the defense talking to each other. But watch this play. What's going to happen is you're going to have a block here, but watch coming down here, you're going to see Todd McClure. All right, see right there, the big guy coming down. McClure got out there. Blaylock, number 63. You had a center and a guard releasing downfield on the screen. Jones circles back inside. You got 2 big fellas out in front, including a wide receiver. Touchdown, Atlanta. Those big guys can run in a short area, and when they get out there, they just cover up a defensive back trying to make a play. But that penalty, that timeout there for Carolina, the second one on defense, that could be a big one down the stretch as they try and close this game out.
Here's a two-point conversion. Sprinting out of the pocket, Ryan throwing on the run. And he gets in. Roddy White with the two-point conversion. And with 13:57 to play in the fourth quarter, Atlanta marching back into this game. 25.
The pass was bobbled when it hit the ground. Therefore, the try attempt fails.
So they do not get in.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Make it great. By Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
And welcome back. The ruling on the field is an incompletion on the two-point conversion attempt. Roddy White, he says he had the football. Atlanta challenging the play, which begs an interesting question. As you take another look, Mike, your thoughts on this? Atlanta with a challenge.
Well, remember now, yes, this had to be challenged because they ended up ruling it no good. So it wasn't a score. And so then it puts it into the hands of Atlanta of having to challenge the play. So now what they're going to look at here is, yes, they were 2 feet down, but was there possession? Was there clear possession? Did he hold on to the ball as he was going out of bounds as a part of completing the process? So that's what they'll look at.
Mike, have you had a chance to look at it? Because I'm struggling with this one. I see him catch it, and I see him go down to the ground. I feel like it's still in the crook of his arm. I'm not seeing where it's coming out.
Only that shot that we just looked at, does he lose possession of the ball on the way to the ground and then repossess it? That's the one. And remember, you know, it looks to me like it's a catch. But again, the fact that they ruled that it wasn't, so they have to come up with something completely conclusive.
Right.
That it wasn't.
I felt like it was a catch.
The ruling on the field stands as called. The ruling is incomplete.
But thank you, Mike. But what Mike said was the key to everything. The initial ruling was incomplete. So it has to be indisputable. And if they don't feel like it's indisputable, they're not overturning it.
23-13.
And you know what's interesting about this, Gus? Earlier this year, Mike Smith was criticized for not going for two earlier in the game because he said, I don't usually go for two until later in the game, down with 7 minutes. And they end up losing with New Orleans. He went for it this game. Look at the time clock. 13:57 in the fourth quarter. That's way earlier than Mike Smith normally goes to the two-point play chart.
And he loses a timeout. One timeout remaining for Atlanta with 13:57 to go. As you take a look at the drive, with 13 unanswered points for the Falcons. Armon Smith back deep for Carolina. He comes up. Ball takes a bounce at the 10. He fields it. And he'll get to the 15. Now, our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues after the game with America's Game of the Week. As Drew Brees, the Saints, take on Eli Manning and the New York Football Giants, or the Cardinals battle the Seahawks. Coverage of America's Game of the Week begins after our game. And an injured Panther heading into the locker room.
Haruki Nakamura, the safety, who got hurt on the touchdown play to against Julio Jones. This Panthers team is already significantly short in the secondary. That's a starter being wheeled in.
First down, they hand it off to D'Angelo Williams. And he'll gain a yard. Chopped down by Dante Robinson. And Williams getting up slowly.
And remember how we set it up as this game went on. When Atlanta scored their first touchdown, the thought process from here is that this game now goes to the Atlanta defense and the Atlanta offensive line. The Atlanta defense has a nice setup here. Deep in their own territories. We look at the total yards now. Things starting to improve for Atlanta. Can they hold Carolina here, get off the field, and turn it back over to their hot offense?
2nd and 9 at the 17. Mike Tolbert comes in for Williams. Tolbert breaking tackles. And Tolbert crosses the 20. Gets up to the 23 as Nichols makes the tackle.
And now the challenge for Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator of Carolina, is there's a lot of time left on the clock. They have to continue to run offense. They can't go into a shell here and try and put it on their defense, which is struggling now as we see Chudzinski in the coach's booth now. Do you go zone read with Cam Newton? Do you keep the ball in his hands? Or do you want him throwing it right here with this bunch formation?
3rd down and 2. Big play for the Panthers. Here's Newton to the sideline. Caught. And a 1st down. Steve Smith with a money grab. And the chains continue to move.
That's a big-time pitch and catch there from Newton to Steve Smith. But I noticed after the play, Cam Newton went to all of his offensive linemen and gave him a little dap, a little thanks for keeping him upright. But a well-thrown football, and Steve Smith knew exactly where the 1st down marker was.
From the 31 now for Newton with breathing room. Clock keeps running. Newton over the middle. He finds his tight end Olsen, and Olsen gets to midfield. Great play action fake. Sucked everybody in, and that's an 18-yard gain. Chris Hope with the tackle.
And we continue to see the evolution of offense in the NFL. They went diamond formation, 3 in the backfield, which is a college formation. Dana Holgorsen started at Oklahoma State, has taken it to West Virginia, and turned it into a route with a deep slant by Greg Olsen. Remember evolution? Tight ends who can flex out and run receivers that run routes that wide receivers run. Big 1st down.
1st down and 10 to the 49. Williams this time straight ahead. And in the meantime, let's go to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee for a gameplay.
Well, the Colts, Andrew Luck, threw a pick 6, so I guess Jake Locker decided to return the favor. That one to Cassius Vaughn, 3-yard defensive score for the Colts, and they take their first lead of the game, 21-20 over Tennessee. Dustin Charles.
One of the best stories in the NFL this year has been the Indianapolis Colts being 8-4 and in the playoff hunt. I want to find the person raise their hand that says they saw this coming in preseason.
Newton. Another dart, Lewis Murphy at the 40. And now they're calling it an incomplete pass.
Remember, you have to possess it all the way to the ground. It's the process of the catch. Look at the fight.
As he hit the ground, he was going to the ground.
That's a good call because Christopher Owens fought him the whole way.
Carolina has challenged the ruling on the field that the pass was incomplete.
This will be interesting because the only way you can call this a completed, you have to say it's a completed pass and a fumble if they're going to continue to award the ball to Carolina and the yardage. Otherwise, it's an incomplete pass.
All right, so another big challenge coming up here in Charlotte. 10:32 to play in the 4th. 23-13 Panthers. Welcome back, 23-13 Carolina, as we take a look at what is being challenged.
And see, to me, this is a catch. He's caught the ball. He's made 3-4 steps, tucked it away, and then the ball's worked free by Christopher Owens, so it should be a fumble out of bounds. I think he caught the ball and made what they call a football act after the catch in order to call it a catch. Mike Pereira, have you got a chance to look at this one?
I agree with you, Charles Davis. To me, it is a catch because he does perform an act common to the game, which is turning upfield. I know they did rule it incomplete, but they can reverse this since the ball went out of bounds.
The receiver caught the pass, took several steps before the ball came loose. He had completed the catch before he fumbled the ball. The ball was fumbled out of bounds. It's Carolina's ball, 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. The clock will start on the ready. There are no timeouts charged.
So both of you gentlemen right on the call. As Lewis Murphy knew he had it and took a couple of steps. I think replay in the NFL is really making it fun as a fan because you get a chance to sit home and debate it.
And you will argue some of these calls long after the game is over. But Christopher Owens made it interesting. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. Made it interesting by the way he competes for the football on the corner. We've seen him do that a number of times today.
And since Carolina won the opening toss, a lot of things going their way in this game. First down and 10 at the 41. Newton, pump fake. Underneath. Incomplete, intended for Edwards. Robert McClain there defensively. .10-11 to play in the fourth quarter.
But what I like, though, is how Carolina has continued to attack. They have not shown any signs of trying to look at the clock and play. They're still trying to play the same football they played before, and they do realize a field goal would be significant in this game.
Second down, Cam Newton straight ahead. Not much. That'll bring up a third down and long. Bierman, Vance Walker combining on the tackle.
See, and that's the play that really stresses a defensive secondary, because when you see Cam Newton faking it inside that way, now he can pull it and run it, he can hand it off to the running back, or he can step back and throw one. And I watched the tape last week against Kansas City, and they used that exact play for a big 47-yard touchdown pass to Greg Olsen. Safety ended up biting on the run, threw it over behind him.
So on 3rd and 9, Steve Smith has been his go-to guy. He's at the top of your screen with Dante Robinson covering. He looks that way, fires that way. Incomplete. Out of bounds. Fans wanted a flag. Robinson, they felt, was not playing the football. Let's see if he got away with one.
The key is, did he get into Steve Smith before the ball got there? See Robinson, 23, back to the ball. See how he goes up to play the ball. He actually, the weird part is, he actually plays the football, because he was playing the hands of Steve Smith. When they came up, he went for his hands to block the ball away, and the ball ended up hitting Dante Robinson in his back.
So Atlanta will get it back. Dominique Franks at the 10-yard line with the fair catch. 9:17 to go in the fourth. Generally speaking, this is Matty Ice time.
Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
Falcons take over at their own 10. Down by 2 scores, 23-13. Here's Ryan to throw. And it's complete at the 20-yard line. Roddy White.
And the secondary now is tougher. It's tough for Carolina. Injury to Haruki Nakamura. Colin Jones, number 42, has had to replace him. A very young secondary, just got younger and more inexperienced.
Ryan, far side, caught once again, Roddy White, and he'll drive forward and get to the 30. Remember, Atlanta blanked in the first half, 16-0. Carolina led the game, but in the second half, Ryan coming alive. First down and 10 at the 31. Ryan over the middle. Harry Douglas with the grab. He'll get close to midfield. Colin Jones with the tackle. Here's that hurry up as the Falcons get to the line of scrimmage.
And now Carolina needs help from their front four. They need the pressure on Matt Ryan to help out a young secondary. But guess what? Matt Ryan knows it. Has gone hurry up to tire out the front four, and the ball's getting out of his hands a lot quicker now downfield to his targets.
Gain of 19. Ryan, draw play, Turner. And he's got a little room, Turner. Collared and taken down at the 45 by Kuechly. Last meeting, Carolina led 23-7 and lost 30-28. Today, Carolina led 23-0. 2nd and 5. Ryan in trouble. Taken down with one arm. 2nd sack of the day, and that's Greg Hardy.
And give credit to this secondary that's had its hands full in the second half. Look at the coverage there by Josh Thomas on Julio Jones. Captain Munnerlyn 41 inside on Harry Douglas. 31 James Dockery outside on Roddy White. That allowed Greg Hardy to get home and take down Matt Ryan.
9th sack of the year for Greg Hardy. 3rd down and 12. Ryan drops it off. Rodgers. And he will not be able to get away as Captain Munnerlyn brings him to the ground. So a big decision now for Atlanta.
No decision. It's too far for a field goal, which they're going to need anyway. And at this stage of the game, you don't punt the ball away. You don't have enough time left for possessions. They have to go for it here.
On 4th down and 8 at the 48, watch Tony Gonzalez. He's the tight end at the top of your screen. He's great over the middle in these situations. Ryan bounces out on the run. Picked off. Thomas Davis. .6:19 to play. They won the opening coin toss, folks. This is a different Carolina team. Welcome back. Matt Ryan throwing his 14th interception of the season as Thomas Davis snags it out of the air. And now Carolina with the football at their own 40.
But Thomas Davis, 3 ACLs to the same knee. Something we've never seen anyone come back from before.
Newton all day to throw it. Looking for D'Angelo Williams, incomplete. Let's take a look back at the interception.
So take a look here, because you're going to find Thomas Davis. All right, look at him in coverage. Now, as this play rolls, Tony Gonzalez, 88, as you called, Gus, bumps out there. But there's no juice on the pass because of the pass rush to Carolina. And Thomas Davis just pattern reads the eyes of Matt Ryan, goes to the football, and picks it off. Matty Ice trying to make a play on a fourth down attempt.
2nd and 10. D'Angelo Williams. And about a yard on the play. Let's go to Kurt Menefee for a game break in Los Angeles.
Well, a reminder that when you guys are done, America's game of the week comes your way. Drew Brees and the Saints trying to get back to their winning ways as they take on Eli and the Giants, who are just trying to hold on to first place in the NFC East. It's America's game of the week at the conclusion of yours down there in Carolina. Gus and Charles.
All right, thank you very much, Kirk. 3rd down and 9 at the 41. Falcons need to get off the field. Newton looking. Newton. It's complete to Edwards, but not enough for first down. Now they call it.
Flag from the secondary. There might be a hold. I thought there was a hold on the receiver running the route, which should give a first down to Carolina.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defense number 23. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Dante Robinson work gets Armante. You see it right there. He's got a full grasp of Edwards, who does a nice job being physical, getting free and catching the football, but wasn't able to pick up the first down yardage. But the flag takes care of everything. A new set of downs for Carolina.
And the clock continues to run. 5:23 and counting. First down at the 46. D'Angelo Williams. Dante Robinson there defensively.
See, now you want to have this clock ticking if you're Carolina. Remember on the last series of downs, they threw the ball on first down and stopped the clock. They were fortunate enough to pick up the first down on 3rd down by penalty. Now you want this thing moving. Force Atlanta to utilize the timeouts that they have left with them. And Mike Smith, who's lost one already due to a challenge, knows the dilemma that he and his defense are in.
Each team with 1 timeout remaining.
Look at the play clock as it ticks down.
And now Cam Newton will call a timeout. We'll stay right here. 16-0. Carolina led at halftime. And then they came out in the second half, and Cam Newton exploded for 72 yards and a touchdown. But Atlanta finally found their rhythm. Roddy White, Julio Jones. And when they had momentum in their favor, Carolina stepped in with a huge interception by Thomas Davis.
There'll be a lot of debate about comeback player of the year in the NFL. I don't think there's any better candidate than Thomas Davis. 3 ACL injuries to the same knee. That's never been done to come back and play in this league. You'll hear about Peyton Manning, deserved guy. But I think Thomas Davis should be the leading guy. Adrian Peterson, Minnesota.
Here's Newton. The screen, D'Angelo Williams trying to find a crease and does! Still on his feet! D'Angelo Williams! Touchdown Panthers! They are shaking the Hanks off. 53 yards. What a call.
Good, safe call by Rob Chudzinski. Good blocking and very determined running. Watch to the left side of your screen. Fakes it to him, then gets it out. Now look at the big guys getting ready to go rumble. Get out in front. Silatulo, 61, 65, Gary Williams. Then D'Angelo Williams' ability takes over from there.
Extra point, up and good. 4:11 to play in the fourth quarter. 30-13. Let's take one more look.
Take a look at this. Now watch the big guys get out in front. Right here. Look at that. That's Gary Williams, 65, offensive guard. And that was 61, Amini Silatulo on the cut block downfield. And then D'Angelo Williams with his vision cuts inside, gets into the crease, and runs it into the end zone. He took out Akeem Dent. The first block by Gary Williams. The middle linebacker Dent was taken out on that play.
D'Angelo Williams. What a day. 56 rushing yards, 56 receiving yards, touchdown.
We talked about Michael Turner's role changing in Atlanta. How about the role of the running backs here in Carolina since Cam Newton's gotten here for D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart? At one time, they both were 1,000-yard runners in the same season. Stewart couldn't go today due to foot and ankle injuries. He's been battling those all year long. But one season, those two were both over 1,000 yards. Remember when they were called double trouble?
That's right. With Cam Newton, the catalyst. 287 passing yards, 118 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns passing, and touchdown rushing, 405 total yards.
I think he was inspired because the Heisman Trophy was given out last night.
I think he was.
He said, you know, that's mine.
I used to do stuff like that. Fox Sports coverage of the UFC continues on Friday with a full night of fights on both Fuel TV and FX. Then on Saturday, January 26th, the UFC will be back here on Fox as Rampage Jackson returns to the octagon. Plus, flyweight Demetrius Johnson puts his title on the line against John Dodson. Fox Sports is your home for the UFC.
Rampage. Last time I saw him making a movie, right? The 18.
He did a pretty good job there.
He was like me, didn't like to fly.
First down and 10 at the 20. Ryan lost one up and incomplete. Julio Jones didn't know which side to turn on.
Yeah, he was running up the numbers, and Matt Ryan threw it more towards the sideline. Remember, it was a bomb like that that got Atlanta out of trouble and gave them a chance to win the first time. Now, whole different ball game because of the score differential.
A lot of the Panthers received extra motivation after the first meeting. They felt that Matt Ryan was a little disrespectful after the win. Here's Ryan. Jones going up and making a beautiful grab at the 38. Now they'll get to the line of scrimmage quickly. One more look.
We've seen some nice catches today, haven't we? That's the second one I remember by Julio Jones with a hands catch and possessing it to the ground. Steve Smith's done the same thing.
From the 37. Tony Gonzalez. He'll get to the 42. It's funny, some of the Panthers upset with Matt Ryan. We asked Cam Newton about some of the comments that Ryan allegedly said. Newton said, you know, if we win the game, there's no telling what's going to come out of our mouths.
He said, no telling how we might act when it's over.
Gonzalez.
I have a feeling, Gus, that if this closes out that way, that Carolina will act like pros when it's over. You know what I mean? This has the feel today, and you talk about the omen from the beginning with the coin toss, of Carolina maturing and growing up a bit, despite the big odds against them.
Ryan to Harry Douglas. Ron Rivera, you feel for him. His team fighting so hard. He talked about the 5 plays that could determine the outcome of a football game. Well, his team has come up with those 5 plays in this one.
And he's made no secret of the fact that the owner, Jerry Richardson, has told him in order to keep his job, this team needs to be trending upwards at the end of the year. And it's not just wins and losses. It's how they're playing. But when you play well and you get a win, that's a true trend upward.
Second down and 1. Pump fake. Ryan finds his man at the 30-yard line, Chase Kaufman. And he gets out of bounds. The clock stops at 2:39. So Atlanta with 1 timeout remaining plus 2-minute warning.
At this stage, if you're Carolina, you just want to make it as difficult as possible to get in terms of bleeding the clock down. No easy touchdowns, leaving a lot of time on the clock.
Ryan dumps it off to Rodgers, and Rodgers gets it to 21. As Captain Munnerlyn brings him down. Ryan again, flag on the play. Tony Gonzalez.
I think this will come back. I think Tyson Clabo, number 77, jumped for Atlanta.
In Eagle formation offense, the end man of the line of scrimmage was an ineligible number 77. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Doesn't get easier for this Atlanta team. We talked to them. They said that the priority was to try to establish home field advantage throughout the playoffs. A loss here, a setback, and they'll play the New York Giants next week at home. Ryan over the middle, Rodgers spinning and chopped down by Kuechly at the 20. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning with the score. The Panthers 30, the Falcons 13. Welcome back. First down and 10 of the 18 for Atlanta. Time not on their side. 2 minutes to go. 30-13. Ryan, Roddy White, and he's down at the 1-yard line. And that's Kuechly with the hard tackle. And Roddy White getting up slowly.
Significant about that, kept him at the end zone. Look, the clock still continues to tick. They didn't make it easy for Atlanta, continuing to have to take extra plays to try and get into the end zone.
Here's Ryan. Knocked away. Incomplete on this play as Josh Thomas knocks it out of Julio Jones' hands.
It's a young secondary that continues to get better and has accepted the challenge down the stretch. They had a little bit of a struggle in the third quarter and early in the fourth, but they've really bounced back big despite injuries, key guys not being able to go today. The youngsters are standing tall near the end of the game.
Second and goal at the 1. Bryant. Incomplete. Kevin Cone, the intended receiver. That one's sailing right out of the end zone. And brings up third and goal.
Look at the pride on Carolina's side in terms of not wanting Atlanta to get into the end zone.
Ball at the 1. Ryan to Tony Gonzalez. Flag on the play. Looks like this will be interference. Captain Munnerlyn may have gotten an early start.
Gonzalez 6'5", 247 listed. Captain Munnerlyn 5'8", 190. They split him out, ran a one-on-one route.
Pass interference, defense, number 41 in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
Take a look at Munnerlyn as he tries to go through Gonzalez to get there. This guy's hands on him the whole way. It's a good call by the official because it's really not a fair fight. You talk about one-on-one there. Captain Munnerlyn's got to do what he can to stay in that one.
So first down at the 1-yard line. Michael turn to the deep man and give it to him. And I don't think he got in. No, he didn't.
So again, they continue to fight and claw and scratch and not let them just walk into the end zone. Josh Thomas, 22. Over the top, Thomas Davis, 58 on the tackle.
Second and goal at the 1. Turner again. This time he gets in. With 53 seconds remaining in the fourth. The defense making Atlanta earn a lot of time off the clock.
And they're not going to be happy that the score resulted, but they ought to be, when they watch film and see what they did to make it difficult on Atlanta to score, because their last-ditch opportunity was big play, quick strikes, onside kicks, getting the ball back, and Carolina didn't permit that.
Extra point by Bryant is good. 53 seconds to play. 10-point ball game. Let's go to Patrick O'Neill for a game break.
All right, Gus, appreciate it. Well, a game with huge playoff implications. Cowboys, Bengals, and here comes Dallas. Tony Romo, a strike to Des Bryant, 27 yards. It's now 19-17, and time permitting, when your game is over, we'll send you to Cincinnati for the conclusion of that one. Gus and Charles?
Thank you very much.
Second week in a row, we've had to have a team play after a tragedy with their own team. Kansas City last week, Dallas this week. Very difficult to do, especially against a quality team like Cincinnati.
Cam Newton. What a day. First quarterback in history with 100 rushing yards.
But the one that jumps out for me is right there. That's 2 weeks in a row Atlanta has struggled on third down on offense. I believe they're 1 of 11 against New Orleans, even though they won last week. 5 interceptions on defense helped carry the day. But Carolina controlled the game, and on third down, more than converted, came into the game less than 40% on third down. Significantly better today.
So the hands team on the field for the Panthers, expecting the onside kick. And it's fielded at the 45.
And that wasn't even a real hands guy. That was Jordan Sen, backup linebacker, who's there to be a blocker.
Don't forget, coming up next after the game is the Lowe's game break. A very efficient football game, though, for Carolina. And I know when he takes his team into the film room, he's going to look at some of the statistics that jump out. No turnovers, just 3 penalties, 477 yards of offense. They dominated the time of possession. They were 9 of 15 on third down conversions to keep drives alive. Cam Newton, 405 total yards. Wonderful game. Different story for Matt Ryan.
And they never blinked and never flinched today, even as Atlanta made their big run at them.
We thought things may be different. A great omen for the Panthers at the beginning of the game. They finally won a coin toss after being 0 for 13. They won the coin toss and they won the game. 30-20 the final. Their 4th win of the season. Atlanta falls to 11-2. For Charles Davis, Christina Pink, and our entire crew, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Bank of America Stadium.